No, his season has been very overrated. I think Rodgers, if you look at it numbers-wise, record-wise, Rodgers has been more impressive. I thought yesterday the Bucs went out of their way, made a concerted effort to throw the ball over 50 times against a very porous Falcons defense. Just for people at home, put little numbers. The Falcons are dead last in sacks. They're 31st in points allowed. They're 19th in pass defense. They're 23rd overall. So they're not a very good defense. You know they're not a very good defense because your Cowboys hung 43 points on them. So looking at what Tom Brady is doing, Tom Brady is on pace to be only the second player in NFL history to throw the ball over 700 times. He's currently, he has the 5th most pass attempts, Skip, through 5 games. Brady has thrown the ball 135 more times than Aaron Rodgers. So if you project that out, he's probably throwing the ball about 3 full games, 3.5 full games more than Aaron Rodgers is throwing the football. And I'm going to shock you because you told me that Tom Brady take care of the football. Did you know, Skip, he threw another pick 6?
He did.
That's 2 pick 6s this year. Aaron Rodgers has 3 of those in 18 years. 10 INTs, 12 total turnovers, ranks him bottom in the league. 7 interceptions in his last 5 ball games. Did you know, people at home, that Tom Brady has more turnovers than Big Ben, Matthew Stafford, and one Daniel Jones? Now, we think Daniel Jones is a turnover machine, but this year, Tom Brady has turned the ball over more than Daniel Jones. He's turned the ball over Matthew Stafford, and we all know at the beginning of the year, you have very little to no respect for Matthew Stafford, and they've taken better care of the football than Tom Brady. So for me, yes, the numbers, 34 touchdowns, I think 10 interceptions. Yeah, those are great numbers. But Aaron Rodgers is 23-4. 4 total turnovers.
Only 23? What happened? He got a sore arm?
No. They don't go out of their way. They have Aaron Jones. They have Dillon. They will run the football. And when they get inside the 3-yard line, they don't just try to throw the ball to Leonard Fournette. They don't throw the ball to Cameron Brate. They've turned Leonard Fournette into an Alvin Kamara. That's not what they took it with. Jacksonville took it with the 5th pick or the 7th pick overall for. But congratulations to him. He's turned himself into a very good pass catcher of the football. But you saw what happened yesterday, Skip. They went out of their way, and it cost them. It cost them a situation where late in the first half, right before the halftime, Brady ended up throwing a 3-yard pick 6, tried to get a screen pass off, and the defensive tackle did a great loop and got it around. But no, Skip, I'm not ready to concede anything. Aaron Rodgers, 23 touchdowns, 4 total turnovers, 3 rush touchdowns. He had better yards per attempt than Tom Brady. And the Packers' offense isn't designed to just throw, like what the Bucs' offense have turned into.
That's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
So I guess you're telling me, you're in the Hall of Fame and I'm not, but I think you're telling me that one coach says, I've got the MVP, I'm going to flaunt it. I'm going to let him throw it to death because that's what we do best. And the other coach who saw Aaron Rodgers get it 1st and goal at the 8 against Tom Brady in the NFC Championship game came out this year and said, you know what? We got to start taking the ball out of Aaron's hands and getting it into the other Aaron's hands. And speaking of Kamara, the closest thing I've seen to Kamara is Aaron Jones.
But that's what you told me. You told me the guy that's equally as, if not more important than Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Jones because he can run it and throw it.
That's what I said.
Okay, so with that
apparently the Green Bay coach, a very young head coach, is with me on that because he is starting to drift toward Aaron Jones. And obviously they got 2 very good backs now, but they're just saying that's our strength. Aaron's not our strength anymore. We've got to hammer away or flip away with those 2 backs.
But what do we see the Bucs do down the stretch last year? They ran Leonard Fournette, they ran Rojo, and we saw in the Super Bowl what happened. We saw in the playoff games, they did a lot more diversifying of their portfolio than what they had done in the regular season. But I think this is a conscious effort. And Skip, I don't have a price. It's not like I got a problem with it. If you want to go out and try to get the guy the MVP, hey, and if it's not going to cost you ball games, by golly gee whiz, do what you do. But I'm just saying, let's not pretend that what he's doing is just like, I can see Skip at this point in time if he had, say, 40 touchdowns and 3 or 4 interceptions. But the INT rate is, because you know this, the more you put the ball in the air, the greater chance it is for an interception. A tip, we saw what happened with Mahomes last night. Another tip by Tyreek, and it's an INT. So you greatly increase the risk of you turning the ball over. But I'm not going to take a whole lot out of Atlanta. Skip, now you know you don't have, after watching Atlanta again, and I know you watched that game, after seeing them against your Cowboys, you know they're not a very good defensive team.
Okay, I'm going to go bigger picture here. I predicted before the year started that the 44-year-old in Tampa Bay was going to win the MVP, and he is doing it right before your very crossed eyes, because it is shocking that he now has 34 touchdown passes. I predicted 50. He's got a shot at 50. He's going to have to average a little over 3 for the last 5 games. Could he do that? They've got Buffalo coming next week on a short week, obviously, after the huge game tonight in Buffalo against New England. Then they got a revenge game against the Saints on Sunday night. We know what the Saints and Drew Brees did to them last year on a Sunday night. It was death and destruction.
That's definitely a different ball game.
I'd say.
With the quarterback
then
situation.
They have 2 games left against Carolina. It's at Carolina in the middle of this, at Jets, and then Carolina at home. Could he do this? Yes, he could. Could he get to 50, which is his career high in 2007 with Randy Moss? Yes, he could. Could it hinge a little bit on AB's return? It might a little bit. We're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. Will he return, or should they just go ahead and cut him? That's another big issue hanging over this team. But right here, right now, Tom Brady is leading the league at 314 pass yards per game. That's pretty extraordinary for age 44. And I'm going to give you, he made one horrendous mistake yesterday. I'm not sure I've ever seen him make a worse mistake than the pick 6 that he threw right at the end of the half when it looked like they were just going to shut it down, and all of a sudden he tries a little screen pass, and Marlon Davidson just drifts out. He's a defensive tackle. He lines up completely inside, and he slides outside.
He ran a little stunt on him. He looped outside.
And he kept looping and looping and looping, and he looped right in the way of the football, and before you knew it, I was dumbfounded to see that an Atlanta Falcon has the football in the end zone.
That's a heck of a play by D. Lyman.
3 yards away, he did it. He was a good player at Auburn. I liked him in Auburn. He was a second-round pick 2 years ago. So he's a talented kid.
But this is what happens. Normally what do teams do, Skip, with 20 seconds on the clock and you're backed up like that? You run the ball and you get off the field. But that's not what they did, because they're trying to greatly increase Tom, get some passing yardage, increase his numbers, and then it ran him into that situation. That situation I don't think happens to anybody else, because nobody on the 3-yard line, Skip, is throwing the football in that situation.
Okay, so what that drove home to me was that Tom Brady is, in fact, human. That actually underscored that once again. He's very human, which makes it even more impressive how inhumanly he's playing at age 44 after many Hall of Famers, starting with you, tried to send him home 4 or 5 years ago.
But Skip, but do you notice that, Skip, you can't say the game that you covered is very different than the game Tom Brady plays. You know that. You covered this game far too long to think the physicality of what you covered is the same as it is now. You see that they've legislated physicality out of the ball game. We saw a play last night where the guy got a pick and Kitchens cracked back on him. They've legislated physicality out of the game.
I'm glad they got that one out of the game, because that was a almost lethal kind of shot. And I've seen Warren Sapp deliver those in the past to Green Bay, right?
Well, actually, it's called the Hines Ward rule.
Well,
when he
broke
Keith Rivers.
But I've seen a number of those where it's close to, it's like Kermit Washington.
But that's the thing, Skip. You remember how they used to be able to attack the quarterback. You were at the game where Goose slammed Rich Gannon and put him out for the game. You do that now, that's a fine. They're going to might even kick. You do that to Tom Brady, they're throwing you out the game. So I'm just saying, Skip, I'm not poo-pooing, because at 44, it's impressive what he's doing. But the game is not nearly as physical as it once was, and so guys are able to play longer. I'm not going to be surprised. You're going to see more quarterbacks, Skip, play 40 and beyond and have success. I'm not going to say they're going to have the level of success that Brady is, but they're going to have a level of success that we had never seen before from guys 40 and older playing that position.
Yet, what I appreciate about Tom Brady is that he has figured out how to take the physicality out of the game, because there's an art form to getting rid of the ball quickly. There's an art form to sensing the rush from all sides and having extreme radar, where we saw what happened to Justin Fields in the preseason, where you just get clocked by the
well, you're never going to catch a veteran. You're not going to catch him like that.
You're not going to catch him like that, because the ball is going to be gone. So I'll give you this stat, that Tom has thrown the most passes this year with the fewest sacks in pro football.
Yes.
Okay, that has a lot to do with his offensive line, but I believe it has even more to do with the fact Brady is the greatest speed reader, the Evelyn Wood of the National Football League in history, because he's speed reading so quickly, the ball is going to be gone. He's not even going to give you a chance to take a sack. He's going to wear out your defensive line because you're going to keep trying and trying and trying to get to him. And by the second half, you're going to be exhausted because you can't reach him before the ball is gone. Even if you get a little bit of an edge on the guy who's trying to block you, the ball is going to be out.
Well, they've done a great job of Skip. You look at Chris Godwin had 15 catches for 143 yards. That's less than 10 yards a catch. He only had 2 receivers that had had double-digit yards per catch. So what it's showing you, Skip, they do a lot of screen. Their running game basically is the little screen game, the little quick pass, the flat passes to the running back, the little jailbreak screens to Chris Godwin.